If you had the opportunity, what actions would you demand of the United Nations Secretary General and why? There are many conflicts around the world that require the United Nations intervention. Just to mention some, we have the North and South Korea dispute, the Israeli and Palestinian conflict, Syria's civil war, Iran's atomic program, and the Zimbabwe's regime, among others. But I would like to bring to Mr. Kim Moon's attention and demand his intervention on an issue dear to my heart, one in which my family was directly affected by the communism in Cuba. It strikes me that an organization created to assess and sustain human and social rights and provide economic development has done very little to intervene in the island since Castro took power. The regime is even considered legitimate. Castro seized power. He has never been elected through international validated elections. So, does this mean that it is legal to take power by force, deposing another government? The United Nations should never recognize a government that has not been legally placed in power, nor one based on persecution and violation of human rights. I do not believe that the United Nations position regarding this matter is in line with its mission. For over 53 years, the Cubans have been under the Castro's mandate. Their government has been mainly based on human rights violations, including political oppression, violation of freedom of speech, executions, repression, political imprisonment, torture, and unfair trials. Among the most relevant and worrisome facts supporting why I consider Cuba's regime an issue regarding immediate intervention are the violation of human rights declared by the United Nations. Let's review a few articles. Article 1 states that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. In Cuba, citizens are treated strictly based on their political views, not on the concept of equality for everyone. Moreover, Article 2 asserts that everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedom without distinction of any kind, such as race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. Political discrimination is one of the main violations taking place in Cuba. If we take a look at Article 3, it asserts that everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. Liberty rights are limited in Cuba. Furthermore, Article 5 states that no one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. Inhuman punishment is a form of repression used by the government. For example, the Damas de Blanco is a women's civil organization peacefully demanding the liberation of their loved ones, whom are constantly restrained in their houses and many times abused. Article 6 states that everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. Cubans do not receive a fair treatment. Citizens are handled as political instruments, and if they don't obey, are imprisoned, treated unfairly, or previously even executed, a direct contradiction with Articles 7 and 9. Lastly, it is fair to state that the above situations are some of the violations occurring in Cuba that require immediate United Nations attention. I have decided to address this issue not only because it directly affected me, but also because it has run for over 50 years. I would demand the United Nations to request the liberation of political prisoners, demand fair elections, and ensure the reconstruction of human rights, or otherwise to expel Cuba from the organization. In summary, over 2 generations of Cubans have lived under this dictatorial regime. Unfortunately, the United Nations' inactivity and silence regarding Cuba projects a message of validation and approval. This is a terrible message to the rest of the world. The Cuban regime is only one of the issues that require the United Nations' attention, but similar actions must be taken in other conflicts around the world.